Hi beauty babes, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for coming back. If this is your very first time checking me out, then stop what you're doing and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps your girl out. Don't forget to hit that bell notification so you can be notified every single time that I upload.
I'm speaking Arabic, I mean not orange whip. Baby, don't force it, I know we foreign.
I did my eyebrows off camera because I can't talk and do my eyebrows at the same time, but that's okay. So this video, I went back and forth with how I wanted to do this video. If I wanted to do a sit down, you know, just complete chit chat with me, or if I wanted to do a get ready. So I figured I might as well do a get ready. So I'm super excited for this video. It's about, you know, my pregnancy announcement, and kind of my little background on like how I found out I was pregnant and dealing with endometriosis. I have had endometriosis for such a long time, but I've never really talked about it. So I kind of figured this would be like a nice segue to it, just because it did have a lot to do with me trying to get pregnant. So yeah, I hope you guys are excited for this video. I didn't want to leave any information down, so I kind of jot down a lot of things on my iPad. Sorry if I sound like I'm getting out of breath. I just run out of breath easily lately. So yeah, so don't mind if I'm like looking, you know, down and stuff like that. But yeah, so I guess let's just jump into it before I just keep chit-chatting about nothing this video. So yeah. So first thing is first, I'm pregnant and I'm super excited to, you know, announce this. I just finished my first trimester. Well, yeah, I've just finished my first trimester. So I kind of wanted to wait before I announce it. I definitely did not want to do it too early, but it wasn't something I was going to keep a secret, you know, throughout my whole pregnancy. So, yeah. But yeah, so as most of you guys know, I got married August 3rd, 2019. So which was about 7 months ago, and I am 3 months pregnant. This was definitely, you know, a planned pregnancy. So it wasn't something that came out of nowhere, and I'm super excited about that. You know, I definitely, like, you know, thank Allah for this. I know there's a lot of people out here who want to have kids and want to get pregnant, and who, you know, unfortunately for one or the other reason can. So I'm very blessed to be experiencing this. And yeah, so I'm overall really thankful. I'm really excited for this journey. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm a little nervous, but overall I think I'm very excited. I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit of background of, you know, my background, or at least my health. This was something that I've kind of wanted to talk about over the years, but I honestly just haven't. So I figured this would be a very, you know, perfect segue, because honestly it has something to do with, you know, me getting pregnant and all that stuff. So I mentioned, you know, here and there over the time that, you know, I would get sick and I would take time off just dealing with, you know, health stuff. And, you know, sometimes that was due to, my absence was due to that. Just because I have a lot of things going on, and sometimes when I'm, you know, not feeling well, then I just can't record or edit or, you know, pretty much do anything, get out of bed, let's be honest. So, but I never really, you know, fully sat down and talked about it. But I know it's something that a lot of people, you know, suffer with. I've done a lot of research. I've talked to, you know, a lot of people. So I know it's something that a lot of people suffer and, you know, have to deal with. Let's take it back a few years. So I have endometriosis and ovarian cysts. This has been something that I've been dealing with for, you know, over 7 years. For those of you that don't know, endometriosis is a tissue that's supposed to grow inside your uterus, but with people with endometriosis, it does grow outside your uterus. And I'm not gonna get like too technical into it. I mean, I feel like if you are curious, definitely ask me questions down in, you know, the comment section. If not, then I'm sure, you know, you can do your own research. But yeah, so that's pretty much what it is. It causes very painful pains, lower back pains, and just abdominal pain. So and really heavy periods. I know in some women endometriosis causes infertility, so that's like a really big thing. I also get ovarian cysts. Now, most women get ovarian cysts, but they usually just flush out with your periods. They are, you know, filled with little fluids, and the cysts come and go away. They're not painful. A lot of people just, you know, don't feel them. However, in my case, my cysts tend to kind of stick to my ovaries. They get bigger and bigger and bigger, and they rupture. Now, when they rupture, that pain, I can't really describe it. Like, it's very, very painful. It's unbearable. You know, I can't sit, I can't sleep, and 90% of the time, I'm in the ER for that. So I've had ovarian cysts for about 7 years now, and they just couldn't really figure out why I kept having ovarian cysts. So 3 years ago, I got diagnosed with endometriosis, and that kind of helped with my cysts. So I developed cysts throughout the whole month. Now, mine just don't come during my period. They honestly come a couple of times a month, and every single time they rupture. I've had, you know, small ruptures to huge ruptures. Yeah, so my cysts, you know, rupture. I can't really explain why mine rupture. They just do. They're very, very painful. They, you know, come a couple of times throughout the month, not just, you know, when it's that time of the month or when you ovulate. So yeah, and honestly, if any of you guys, like I said, if any of you guys know what ovarian cyst, like when your cyst rupture, what that feels like, then you kind of understand it. If not, it's definitely something that I cannot explain. So yeah, so over the years, I've had several surgeries, because one of them, that kind of one of my first ones, was I kind of woke up in the middle of the night with really bad pain. This was like when I really didn't know what was going on. And yeah, it was just really bad pain. It wouldn't stop. It was hurting. I couldn't sit. I couldn't sleep. So I went to the ER, and they're like, you have an ovarian cyst. And so we're going to kind of just keep an eye out on it because it was really, really big. And I was like, all right, cool. They gave me meds. I felt a little bit better. Then in the middle of the night, the cyst ruptured. Now, that pain was insane. So when my cyst ruptured, it was very, very painful. And so they decided that they were going to actually take me into the ER, because what happened was when my cyst ruptured, it ended up hitting a blood vessel. So then I ended up internally bleeding, which was, yeah, I can't really explain the pain. You know, I don't wish, you know, this pain or what I went through on my worst enemy, because it's just horrible. Yeah, so thankfully, I mean, everything went well. And so that's kind of when everything started. So I want to say I was like maybe 16 years old. I believe I was 16 years old. So yeah, so I've really just been dealing with ovarian cysts, and nobody could really figure out what was going on and why I kept having so many cysts. Their solution was to kind of suppress my hormones. So I ended up being on birth control. I was on every single type of birth control that you can think of. I've tried the pill, the patch, the shot. I want to say the only thing that worked for me the last 3 years was the IUD, the Mirena. It did really, really well for me. I didn't have a lot of side effects on it. It didn't, you know, it took away my bleeding. I was still having cysts, but they were not as horrible. So now that I gave you guys a little bit of that background, you can kind of sort of, you know, understand the rest of the story. Yeah, so when I got married, I was very excited to try and get pregnant, because pretty much my doctor told me that with ovarian cysts and endometriosis, there's 50% of women that when they get pregnant, it goes away, and another 50% that, you know, it doesn't. So fingers crossed, I'm hoping, I'm, you know, praying to Allah that I'm part of that 50% that it goes away. You know, but if not, then at least I have my kid. So that's kind of the background story. So, like I said, we were trying to get pregnant. You know, thankfully, I was married to somebody that completely understood everything that I went through. So he is perfectly fine with, having a kid right away. I know, other people are like, oh, you've only been married for a couple of months. But yeah, so I was trying to get pregnant. So actually, I found out, so I got off all my birth control and everything. I apologize if this video is all over the place. I am trying to get all my thoughts, and that's kind of why I wrote it down, because I knew if I did not write it down, my thoughts were really going to be all over the place. I got off my IUD like 2 weeks after I got married. And the doctors just kind of told me that it will take anywhere from 6 months to a year, and that's kind of what they tell you, but I was obviously hoping for sooner than later. So yeah, but I found out I was pregnant December 26th. I missed my period. My period, I calculated, like I said, we were trying to get pregnant, so I calculated my period. I knew when it was coming, so I missed my period for 2 days. I was super, super excited. We were actually getting ready to go on our New Year's trip. We're actually getting ready to go on our New Year's trip to Toronto. So I went ahead and I took a pregnancy test. It said I was pregnant. So I was super, super excited. So the first thing I told my husband, I told my sister, and I told my mom. And when I tell you, like, we were literally getting ready to walk out the door. Like, I made him go to the store and give me a pregnancy test because I just had to know. Then we were driving to Toronto, so it was about like a 6.5 hour drive. So on the way there, I just had to pee a lot. I was really tired, so I took my second pregnancy test, and I said the next time I have to pee, I'm gonna end up taking this test too, just so I know 100%. So we went ahead and I did that, and both tests ended up being pregnant. I was super excited. I was still very like, oh, we'll see, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I still didn't really believe it. So we went to Toronto, had a full weekend there. Had a full week there. Spoke to my doctors and everything, and everybody's like, no, if the pregnancy test says you're pregnant, you're pregnant. So when I found out, I was about 5 weeks pregnant, which was January 6th, 2020. So my appointment wasn't set up till the end of January, I believe. Yeah. So January 6th, I kind of woke up in the middle of the night, and I was just in a lot of pain. For me, this was a very familiar pain. It felt like an ovarian cyst that ruptured. So I was just in a lot of pain. I was really uncomfortable. So that kind of freaked me out, because knowing that I was pregnant, I was like, oh my God, what if something's happening? So I went ahead and I told my mom and my husband and my sister and stuff, and we went to the ER. Yeah, we ended up being at the ER for about 7 hours. After a few hours of being there, though, I got a lot better, and without them giving me any meds or anything. So I just felt like, okay, maybe this was just, a small cyst that ruptured and it wasn't that painful. So the hospital was very hesitant, about like giving me meds or doing anything. So I made an appointment to go see my OBGYN, which was January 8th. I went to go see him and get an ultrasound and some blood work and everything. So my doctor confirmed that, everything was great with me. Everything was great with the baby. So then I was about 6 weeks when I went to the doctor. So I kind of ended up having a early, confirmation rather than later. So everything was great with me. Everything was great with the baby. Thank God. So that then he told me that it was probably just an ovarian cyst that ruptured, and it must have been something small. So just to keep an eye out on that. So even though after I got pregnant, I didn't develop any more cysts. Before I got pregnant, I had about like 5 or 6 little ones already. So those were more prone to rupture. And so, yeah, if they ruptured, they would still cause the pain. Yeah, so I feel like I've just been talking and I haven't done any of my makeup. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly finish this up. So that's it. This brings us to this point. I've kind of touched bases on everything. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave me a comment. So first of all, I want to say thank Allah for this opportunity, and you know, for me to be a parent. I'm so excited to take on this new journey and this new chapter in my life, and I can't, you know, wait to share everything with you guys. I just finished my first trimester and everything went great. You know, just little things here and there, but overall everything was really great. Alhamdulillah, and I'm just super excited. I will be doing a first trimester recap for you guys. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, which I hope you did, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps your girl out. And I will catch you guys in the next one.